What is going on in Kenya? What is it with these funny, strange, brutal murders? Even before Kenyans can recover from the Sharon Otieno murder, actually the double homicide, because she had an unborn baby who was deliberately killed while still in the tummy of the mother. Even before Kenyans recover from that, we have yet another incident. This time in Nairobi, in the Kilimani area, and in fact it was even more brutal. Now some reports we have seen in the press have said her neck was cut. However, the truth is more gory than that. Her head was severed completely, cut off from the body. Gosh. I'm of course talking about the late Monica Kimani. She had just returned in the country from South Sudan where she works, and she was preparing to leave for Dubai, on a brief holiday, when her life was brutally cut short. Now, normally in apartments, the security is fairly good. You cannot just walk in, You'll have to sign in, and in most cases, you'll have to leave behind your national identity card. In fact, many apartments in Nairobi nowadays have extra security in the form of CCTV cameras. What that means is that it is not possible for a stranger to walk in, or even a hitman, to walk in, kill somebody, and walk out and vanish into thin air. Very difficult. However, in the case of the Limuru Garden apartments, that's where the late Monica Kimani used to live, we have not had any mention of CCTV cameras, at least not yet. And so on the day Monica Kimani died, she had 3 visitors. 2 of them followed the procedure. They signed in, left the identity cards, and so on. But 1 did not. So already we know that some poor security guards are going to be in serious trouble. Either they'll lose their job, or it could even be worse, because they have to explain how they let in somebody, and they didn't even raise the alarm, which means they let them in voluntarily, which means that the possibility is very high that it was a kitu kidogo deal. Whatever it was, they're in serious trouble, because now a very brutal murder was committed. What this also means is that that third person who did not sign in, had ill intentions. Because why else would they want to go in without signing in? I mean, even if you don't have an identity card, you're supposed to write down your name, write down your identity card number, write down your telephone number. And that is not all. They wore a white kanzu. Already that's very suspicious. At least it is to me. Why is it suspicious? Because, for instance, if you're going to commit a crime with a car and you use a white car, people just say a white car. There are so many white cars around. There's no way you can pinpoint and identify a particular one. In the same way, you wear a kanzu, and people will say it was just some Muslim man. There are so many Muslim men around. Still, something amazing happens. Within hours of this brutal murder, the police have a suspect arrested. What investigators tell us is that they traced the suspect's phone to the scene of crime at around the time the crime was committed. And that is not all. They have several witnesses who identify the man as the mysterious man in a kanzu who did not sign in, who visited the late Monica Kimani on the fateful day. Now it gets even more interesting when that suspect is named. His name is Joseph Kurierungu. Let's take a quick look at something I prepared earlier about this very interesting character. I'll be back in a minute. Now, this is something I've seen for years. Yeah, even when my late political lecturer was still in the police. And that is people greatly underestimating the ability of the police, yeah, and police investigators. You know, there's a very big difference between inability to do something and reluctance to do something. Many criminals have assumed that the reluctance they see in police is actually inability. They assume that the police are fools or that they are very easy to fool. In fact, most people are so ignorant that they believe the people who investigate serious crimes are the regular police they see at the police station. Well, it has never happened like that, even since I was a kid. Always, serious crimes are investigated by the Criminal Investigations Department. And those guys don't wear uniform. And you never see them until you're in very serious trouble. The reason why I bring this up is that there are a lot of similarities between the murder of Monica Kimani, yeah, and that of Sharon Otieno. Yeah, you heard me correctly. There are many similarities, but I will give you just two. The first is that the police used the location of cell phones, yeah, to nab the suspects. Location of cell phones at the time the crime was committed. And the second one, which is related to what I've just told you, yeah, about people underestimating the Kenya police investigators, is that in both cases, the chief suspects were nabbed at police stations, yeah, going to report an alleged crime committed against themselves. Michael Oyamo walked into a police station and reported that he had been kidnapped, or other people had attempted to kidnap him, people he did not know. And this was very shortly after the Nation journalist had escaped out of a moving car, which he told police that moments earlier, a man called Michael Oyamo was in the same vehicle, of his own free will. In fact, the man was directing the movements of the vehicle, so definitely was not kidnapped. In the case of Joseph Irungu, he reported to the police that unknown people had fired at him and then disappeared on a motorbike. And he even had a wound, which he said was a bullet wound. Now, the police investigators say that they do not believe it is a bullet wound. Yeah, they're saying they're carrying on further investigations, and they say there's a high probability that they will be able to prove it's not a bullet wound. And so, Kenyans need to know the policeman you meet on the streets, yeah, who cannot even talk, who talks Kiswahili with an accent. By the way, why do all policemen talk with a Kalenjin accent? Maybe the instructors at Kiganjo. Anyway, that policeman you meet on the streets, yeah, and give 50 bob to let you go, is not the person who's going to investigate you when you commit a serious crime. The guys who do that are other boys, yeah, with the emphasis on the M. Now, the direction the investigation is taking is very interesting and very instructive. It is clear that the police are digging deeper into Monica Kimani's background, yeah, especially her workplace in South Sudan, and what business exactly she was involved in. Now, as I've said before, in the murder investigations, investigators the world over investigate everything. Everything is of interest because you don't know what will give you a vital clue, yeah, on the particular murder investigating. And especially anything that does not make immediate sense needs to be looked deeper into, yeah. With all due respect to the departed Monica Kimani, who was the victim, it is not every day that you find a 28-year-old doing so well, yeah, with a very prosperous family business going and living in an upmarket apartment, yeah. In fact, the late Monica has been described as a pillar of the family, yeah. She even recently purchased a vehicle for her mother. And so some investigators will be going to South Sudan to visit her workplace, yeah, and to ask questions around there. Why are they going into all this trouble? Because although they have a suspect in custody, they need to put it all together. Because, for instance, the big mystery in this case is the motive. What was the motive? And motive, all over the world, is extremely important in achieving the successful prosecution of a suspect. If you don't have a motive for the suspect, then you have greatly weakened your case. What I've given to you today, of course, is a very hurried job, under pressure, because I was still digging into this. But then I was flooded with emails, and even messages right here on this channel, of you guys saying I must say something about it. And others asking me, Chris, tell us all you know about this thing so far. And so I've obliged. Monica Kimani is going to be buried tomorrow, Friday, 28th September 2018. My deep and sincere condolences to her family and those who are close to her. Our thoughts and our prayers are with them, and it is especially our prayer that justice is done and that the killers or the killer of Monica Kimani is brought to book. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.